I'm Glenn Orvik. I'm from Michigan, North Dakota. Run the B Rumely from Crosby, North Dakota. This is the second oldest one. It's serial number 84. It'll be the one next to Kerosene Annie. It's a Canadian tractor. It belongs to the Divide County Historical Society. Our main show is Crosby, North Dakota. We actually got 11 tractors here this year. We brought a bunch down for the Rumely feature. This is the biggest Rumely collection or put together I've ever seen. What else you want to know? Oh, this original tractor has been painted a couple times, but it hasn't never been taken apart. It runs about as nice as any Rumely that I've ever seen. It's got round spokes on the front, which shows it's an older one, and bigger radiator. A lot of similarities to the Kerosene Annie if you look at it. So. At one time, Rumely was the world's largest manufacturer of farm tractors, and they bought out a lot of other companies, and then they folded in '31, and Alice Chalmers bought them out. So.
My name is David Sunstall. I've been a longtime member of the Western Minnesota Steam Thrashers Reunion at Rollag. My first visit to Rollag was when I was a small child, about 55 years ago. I haven't made every show since, but the last 30 years I have been pretty faithful. I'm a Rumely guy. I have 4 different Rumely models. One of them is a heavyweight, and this is a lightweight model. And what's different about the lightweight Rumely tractors is they went to a pressed steel frame. The frame is not of an I-beam construction. So when Rumely went to this style of tractor, they call them the lightweight models. Okay? So they had a lot more horsepower, they had a faster revolving engine, and you could pull a lot more plows with the configuration of a smaller tractor, which obviously cost less money. Also, Rumely still use their famous water injection carburetor that was necessary to utilize with the burning of kerosene. All Rumely oil-pulled tractors have a water injection system incorporated into the carburation. And that was very, very important, because to burn kerosene efficiently, you had to burn the kerosene at a high temperature. And at those high temperatures, the kerosene would detonate rather than burning slowly. So the water was injected to slow the combustion process down. So in a good day's running of using 18 to 20, 24 gallons of fuel, you probably use 12 to 15 gallons of water. So this has 2 tanks. It has a water tank here, and it has a fuel tank underneath here, which houses the kerosene. This Rumely tractor is gray, and you can ask any Rumely collector on the ground why that is, and everyone's going to give you a different answer as to why that is. Well, one of the stories is, and the one that I go along with, is that it was known that Dr. Edward Rumely and Henry Ford were friends. They were buddies. And that Henry Ford had some extra gray paint left over, which is possible because the year that these were started to be painted gray was the year that he quit manufacturing Fords and tractors in the United States. So that's possible. So I'm going to go with that. And I like the gray. The red gives it a nice accent. So they're good running tractors. We love to parade them, and hope to see you next year at the show.
All right, my name is Keith Rochon, and I'm from Columbia, Missouri. So I've come a long way to be at this show, which I've done for the last 45 years. The tractor behind me is a Universal tractor made in 1910 in Stillwater, Minnesota by the Northwest Thrasher Company. This was a company that Rumely bought in about 1912, and they changed the name of this tractor to the gas pull. It became the Rumely gas pull. Looked exactly the same, except the painting on it was different. This tractor has an interesting history in this part of the country because it was designed by a man by the name of A.O. Espy. And he was in Crookston, Minnesota. He had a machine shop there, and he was famous, mostly famous for designing the Avery tractor. That's what he was best known, but he designed this tractor and one called the COD. But this tractor is a 1910 model. It was made before December of 1910, and I have a photograph that shows the number. The serial number is painted on the front frame rail, the front channel iron. And there's a photograph taken by a photographer in 1910 in Stillwater, and he was a long-time photographer there, and when he died, his negatives went to the Historical Society. And I found the photograph, and they blew one up for me big enough I could read the number. They did a advertising stunt. One of these pulled 10 other ones that were not running. And the warden and the mayor the warden of the Minnesota State Prison and the mayor of Stillwater certified that they saw that tractor pull these others. Well, the tractor in the photograph in the front is 565. Mine is 561. So it is a true 1910. It is a 2-cylinder posed engine, of course, and that was a common design that SB designed, very much like the Avery, the early Avery engines. But it's a very early example of how the tractor was evolving. But this is the earliest one known of this particular model.
Okay. Hi, I'm Reese Groshon from Columbia, Missouri. I'm here at Western Minnesota Steam Thrashers Reunion. Been coming here for 40 years, helping out and all. We're happy to feature the Rumely Expo this year in 2022. We've had a good turnout. The collectors and everybody else has stepped up and brought a lot of good stuff. I want to shout out to the other members of the Expo committee, Luke Steinberger and Gary Beaver. They were instrumental in helping getting us going. Also want to have a shout out to the board, which supported us with our funding to get Kerosene Annie here, which is the prototype for the Rumely oil pulls that we see here in the background. So I thank everybody for coming, and we'll see you again next year on the Hill.
My name's Steve Vanderzeel. I'm from Lowell, Michigan, near Grand Rapids. This is a 1224 Rumely ideal pull. It's built special for plowing. It's a 3-bottom version. They were built 1 year, 1916. There's only 3 of them in existence. So it's a pretty rare tractor. Has only one use, plowing. They only build them 1 year, so it wasn't a very good tractor. That's why they only build it 1 year. But it's unique and kind of draws attention. It's an awesome show. It's the first time I've been here. Gary Beavers knew that I had this and kind of tugged on my ear to bring it, so that's why we're here.
So, yeah, my name is Roger Berenson. I'm driving Luke Steinberger's G2040 Rumely. I got one just like it, but mine isn't nearly this nice out in western North Dakota. And I'm a new member this year. So, kind of different for me to be driving the tractor here, but it's kind of fun to see how everything works. And they're having a really nice show here this year with the Rumely products. And but I have been coming to this show for about 30 years, so it's probably time to be a member. And yeah, it's kind of fun to meet everybody there's people from all over the U.S. that are coming here, and it's just really fun to meet them and talk to them about their tractors. And there's a lot of interest out there, it seems, so, but that's about it.
My name is Scott Kleberg. I'm from Northwood, North Dakota. I think the first time I came to Rollag, I was probably 7. I've missed a few years over the bunch of years we've been coming, but really enjoy coming. This year I bought a Rumely tractor from Bonheim's over in New England, North Dakota on their auction sale, and they happen to be here today. And bought it, brought it home. Hadn't run it in about 15 years, so we put some new gas and cleaned all the gas lines up, and she took off. And I wanted to bring it here for the Rumely show, and I just happened to run into the original owners, so it's a pretty good day.
My name is Val Seberg. I'm from Detroit Lakes, Minnesota. The tractor belongs to Western Minnesota Steam Thrashers. I've just been operating it for them for about 25 years, and it's a Rumely 2040. It's been good.
That's great. What do you think of Rollag?
The best. Very good. Very informative and very interesting for machinists and mechanics and stuff. And then the way they used to do things, nobody knows about that. It's a big, everything, they had tractors, but still a lot of it was done with horses and by hand, and mostly thrashing is when they use these here, around here anyway. I don't know, like out Dakota, they probably plowed with them and that kind of stuff, but not here.
I'm Trudy Klegstad Shunk. My dad was Dean Klegstad, and my grandfather was Leonard Klegstad, who originally owned this tractor. It's a 1920 1220K. It's the smallest of what they call the heavyweight Rumleys. And we believe this tractor has been to Rollag 5 times. The thrashers that you can see behind me were all owned by my grandfather and my dad. And this is the first time that we've had all 3 pieces of equipment at Rollag at the same time. So my dad passed away in 2018, and so we're just trying to continue on the legacy and to keep it going. So.
Sure. Yeah, my name is Steve Sorensen. I'm from West Fargo, North Dakota, and this is our 1918 Advanced Rumely Ideal 3252 separator. It was restored in the early 80s by my grandfather Leonard Klegstad. We've had it here at the show before. I haven't. I just recently bought this from the family after my uncle passed away. So this is the first time I'm showing it here. We brought it down with all of our family's kind of history equipment that's been owned down through our family.
do most of it myself. Having somebody to say, "Oh, that is the way it's supposed to be."
Hi, John Jury out of Valley City, North Dakota. We're here with our 50-horse 1910 Garscott stationary engine. It's owned by myself and our two sons, Lance and Lucas. We've been members, or I've been a member of the show for better than 40 years. We brought the Garscott up because it's one of a kind. It's the only one we know in existence. It came out of Mason, Michigan. It was restored by Scott Somerville, and it originally ran in an apple cider mill for a little bit, and then he completely restored it, and we purchased it from him in 2020 when we were down at the Graham Sellers auction sale. We went up and looked at it and bought it from him. So we brought it just because we thought people would enjoy seeing it. Something different. You don't see a lot of portables that you can actually move around. So very interesting piece. Single cylinder, 11.5 by 14 inch bore on it. So yesterday on the pony break it pulled 94 horse. So we're at. But kind of a family tradition for us to spend weekends in Rollag. We also spend a lot of time in New Rockford where this engine stays. It's housed in New Rockford, and it runs on we use it on the sawmill that the two boys put together. So.
All right. My name is Mary Jo Dillon. This is my 16-horse Advance straw burner steam engine. Back in about the year 2000, 1999, right around in there, I was helping a family run this engine. I fell in love with it. It came up for sale, and this was my Mother's Day present. I've been running it ever since. It's our family engine. We've taught all of our kids how to run it, and they're having a ball now, learning how to take care of it properly, put in the handholds, fill it with water, doing all the things that as we get older is a little bit harder to do. So it's our family engine. We're having a really good time with it. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. It's great to come out here and see all the history, be a part of the history, and teach people what our grandfathers and forefathers used to have to do to make a living. We've been coming out here since about the early 80s, and we've done many things out here. helped with engines. I used to be on the Ortner. So steam is kind of a part of our life. It's in our blood. It's something we really enjoy. It's something we really want to preserve and pass on to generations. We're the caretaker of this now, is what we always say. We own it, but I mean, we're the caretakers of it, and we want to pass that caretaking on to our children, and they will pass it on to their children. It's important to preserve all of this history. We have 3 generations. I recently lost my father just a few years back. He was coming out here. We had 4 generations of us out here. Now we're down to 3, and I'm sure we will have many more generations yet to come.
Hi, I'm Luke Steinberger from Harwood, North Dakota. I'm on the committee for the Rumely Collectors Group Expo this year. Just want to thank everybody for coming out for our show. We had a great showing. We were blessed with great weather. We had great plowing. We got threshing today. I don't know that we could have asked for anything more from any show, let alone an expo like this. To our exhibitors, I want to thank you guys too, guys and gals. I think we had around 100, 110, maybe 120 pieces here. So to pull that together was not a short feat. So we do have a as full of a lineup of Rumely products as there's been at any expo, bar none, including Kerosene Annie, which many thought was not possible, but we made it happen right here at Rollag.